What's going on, guys? It's Tommy, and I'm coming at you with an action figure review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Hasbro The Black Series Return of the Jedi 40th Anniversary Biker Scout. I'm a big collector of the Imperial Trooper variants here in the Black Series line, so this was one that I missed out on last year in 2023, and I went ahead to Big Bad Toy Store and picked one up. Big Bad Toy Store is my go-to place for most in-stock action figure orders and pre-orders. I highly recommend checking out their service. They're a great service here in the United States. So obviously the packaging on this figure is to emulate the packaging of the original figure from the 80s, and I think that's done very well here. Up at the top left, you have your Return of the Jedi 40th Anniversary logo, the original logo for the movie here, the character's name, and then here you have the figure in the bubble card next to the screen grab from the movie. On the back of the card back, you have your Black Series logo at the top right, your Star Wars logo, and then some of the other characters that came out in this wave of the Return of the Jedi 40th. And they also include a blurb, just a generic one for the anniversary. This bio reads, "Commemorate the 40th anniversary of Star Wars Return of the Jedi with figures from the Black Series, featuring classic design and packaging." And that's pretty much all there is to say on the packaging. So this figure is one that we've seen so many times in the Black Series. I'm not going to dwell too much on it. We're just going to get it opened and we'll check him out. Alrighty, here is the Biker Scout out of the box. Before we check him out, let's check out the one accessory he comes with, that being his signature blaster pistol. This is done in a black sculpt, no weathering or paint applications to it whatsoever, so this is exactly what you can expect. It's got some good detail, and it's good that if they only include one accessory, they include the most iconic one for this character. And here is the character. So the Biker Scout is first introduced in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and he has shown up in so much Star Wars media since. It's one of the most popular and most iconic designs from the original trilogy. One thing I want to point out first is how much I love what they've done with the weathering, especially down here by the boots, and just some of the grime up here on the elbow armor here, and then also up here on the chest. I think they've done a great job weathering this guy up, just dirtying him up, and I think it's going to make him pop a little bit more on the shelf, just look a little bit different than the stark white that he'll be shoulder to shoulder with some of the other Imperial ranks. You got some nice paint applications up here at the helmet with some blacks and some grays, just kind of bringing out a lot of those iconic details there. And then you even get some red on the top of the backpack too. I mean, this is really, really nice. They even included some detail on the back of the belt, which usually I don't expect from the Black Series, especially on the backs of figures nowadays. You don't expect too much extra detail there. So to have any of that is greatly appreciated. To check out this guy's articulation, he does have a ball and hinge at the head. This guy's got some awesome articulation. Look how far he can look down, and look how far he can look up here. Some very, very nice articulation. Barely any tilt there, but he can look right and left very nicely too. So the shoulder armor is actually glued down here by the biceps, so it's loose up here at the top, so that when you bring the shoulders up to that 90-degree mark, it'll kind of flex. But be sure not to do that too stressfully, because it's going to really just warp that shoulder armor, and it's going to be a pain getting it back into where it's supposed to be. This guy does not feature butterfly joints of any kind, but he does have the ability to swivel the shoulders 360 degrees. He's got some pinned double jointed elbows here, which have some really crazy articulation, and I actually don't mind the double joint here where usually I do, because this elbow armor is just blocking almost all of the joint, so you don't have to see that ugly joint there. He's also got a swivel down here at the wrist, as well as a vertical hinge joint on both wrists here. He's got a ball joint here at the midsection, which has some decent range, but some of that's going to be blocked by the sculpted pouches here at the front, which are accurate to the design of the character. He has some ball joints here at the hips, which have some really, really nice range of motion. He's got a cut for a thigh swivel about halfway down the thigh, and he's got some ugly, ugly pinned double jointed knees. They have a great range of motion, and again, at least in this case, the knee armor does actually block most of that ugly joint, but I just think it looks really bad compared to the single joint scheme that they do with a lot of the figures now. And he does have a forward-facing pin for rocker down here at the ankle, as well as a hinge that moves quite a bit forward and quite a bit back. I would argue that this is one of those rare figures from the early days of the Black Series that still holds up with most other figures to this day, and that's a big achievement to show just how good Hasbro was at designing this particular character. He does, of course, have some storage for the weapon down here at the little drop, the little ankle holster here. It fits in there with friction. It does pass the shake test, but definitely be careful if you're moving this figure around. It might be prone to falling out. And of course, you can put this blaster into his hand here. It fits perfectly into the hand, probably because this blaster was sculpted for this character. You'll see that it does fit nicely. It's going to pass the shake test in the hand, and you can of course get him into a nice little pose here, aiming down the sights of the blaster. And because of the great articulation, you can get this guy into a one-legged running pose with little to no problems at all. As you can see, I'm moving him all around and I'm not really having any trouble doing that. And with that, I would highly recommend getting this figure. I know this was a quick little review, quick little overview of him, but I would get this one. He's come out so many times in the Black Series, and if you're just looking for a couple extra biker scouts to toss on a display, this is a great way to get one that's in stock right now. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did and you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to Blitz Transmissions. I've got awesome Star Wars content coming out all the time. Make sure to check out my social media. All of the links are in the description below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll catch you for the next one, and may the Force be with you.